Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another live from Studio B session here on Montana Public Radio on this Halloween afternoon. I'm Michael Marsolek here in Studio B with Julia Tai, the music director of the Missoula Symphony Orchestra, is here, and a guest cellist who will be performing this weekend as part of concerts. Been here doing master classes and other things. Nathan Chan as well. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Michael, for having me here in the studio, and it's so great to be back here with Julia for my first time ever in Missoula.
Well, that's great. Welcome.
Thank you.
Great to have you here, Nathan.
Well, we have Nathan's going to play a couple pieces for us, a couple solo cello pieces, which is lovely. We'll get a chance to talk in detail about the concert. But maybe just before we begin, you've had all sorts of stuff happening this week. You've also just had a master class Nathan gave at the university here. Mm-hmm. You had a kids concert early in the week. You've got a haunted house set up at the Symphony offices all week as part of a fundraiser thing too, right?
Yeah. It's a busy week for the Symphony. So we had our Symphony Kids concert at the library, the free concert we give 4 times a year. And then we had the master class. We had a luncheon yesterday. And all weekend, we have the haunted house at the Symphony. We turned the Symphony office into a very scary, spooky place. And
did I read, though, that you have a family version of
yes. So 5 to 7 is the family version. It's more friendly and less spooky. But if you want to be really scared, come at night. 8 to 10 is the scary version, and it's really fun.
I understand this was set up through a student at the university was helping make this happen for you?
Yeah, so it was a project by a university student, but the staff is all hands on deck. Everybody went in to decorate, and there's lots of volunteers also helped out. We have live music, so we had 10 bassoons there on Wednesday night.
Wow.
We'll have like 8 basses there yesterday, and tonight there will be more music too. So spooky music with spooky.
Sounds great. And because of the Halloween holiday, you also have adjusted your schedule a little bit. You have the student dress rehearsal, which is open to students, but that's tomorrow morning now, right?
Yeah, so our open dress rehearsal to all the music students and their families, it will be Saturday this time. So 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. is our dress rehearsal. So you're welcome to come to Denison Theater and watch.
So we're talking about that. Again, that starts at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Denison Theater in Missoula, and the Missoula Symphony performances are at 7:30 p.m. Tomorrow night. That's November 1st. And then a Sunday matinee, as per usual, at 3 p.m. at the Denison here on the University of Montana Missoula campus. Well, I want to dig into this special concert that is coming together for this weekend, and have you talk about the Philip Glass you'll be playing, sure, and more, a concert, Light and Darkness. But maybe, would you like to play a little something for us? First?
Sure, Michael. I'd love to play for everyone listening the prelude from Bach's Third Cello Suite. And this piece is very special to me because I think it reminds me of great architecture. Bach really designed this piece in such a beautiful way that if you imagine architecture, you can see how music really is another form of architecture in the way Bach composed this piece. So I hope you all sincerely enjoy this performance.
Wonderful. We'll let you grab your cello and get ready for that. We're live in Studio B here, Montana Public Radio. Julia Tai from the Missoula Symphony is here. The soloist, Nathan Chan, who will be here performing this weekend with the Symphony, is here with us live in studio as well. And now some music of Bach here live on Montana Public Radio. Cellist Nathan Chan performing live at Studio B here at Montana Public Radio. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for that delightful piece. There's nothing like Bach on the cello. I just have to say, it's just so delightful. Thank you so much. Beautiful.
Thank you.
I like, Julia, the opportunity, too. We had a couple of weeks ago, of course, another extraordinary musician with us here in studio. It's really great to be able to share a little bit more of not only the fine people that you're bringing, but the instruments solo, because in the concert hall, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And fun on the radio, we can really get that intimacy.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's totally different when you play, just listen to a solo piece by the cello, and then the cello concerto where Nathan is basically playing against 100 musicians behind him. And really he has to, really demonstrate power and soar on top of it. So it's a very different environment for sure.
We're here live in studio today because it's a Missoula Symphony concert weekend. Light and Darkness presented tomorrow and Sunday, 7:30 p.m. concert time tomorrow, and on Sunday at 3 o'clock. Concerts at the Denison Theater, and I will mention again that there is that student dress rehearsal opportunity as well. That'll be tomorrow morning starting at 10 a.m., again, at the Denison Theater. If you'd like information about concerts and events and tickets and such, go to MissoulaSymphony.org. Well, I want to ask you more specifically, Nathan, about the Philip Glass, but
Yes.
maybe, Julia, let's talk about the program. You've got music of
Sure.
Arvo Pärt, you've got the Philip Glass Cello Concerto, and you've also got a big Tchaikovsky Symphony on the program.
Yeah, so this is a program that's All Saints Day inspired. So after all the festivities of Halloween, that we get to really enter a space where we remember the loved ones, our loved ones who have passed away. And so we start with Arvo Pärt's Cantus in memory of Benjamin Britten, a great British composer. And Pärt is an esteemed Estonian composer, and he just celebrated his 90th birthday last month, and just a wonderful voice in the contemporary music world, that his music is always very meditative. He invented this technique called tintinnabuli, that's meaning the ringing of the bells. So he used very simple scales, just an A minor descending scale, and then create this whole piece that is so beautiful. And it combines the ancient church music with the kind of the modern minimalism. And so it's a beautiful piece to just sit there for 6 minutes, to be in this meditative state, to hear the sound grow from 4 pianos all the way to 3 fortissimos. So it's gorgeous piece. And then, of course, we have the Glass Cello Concerto with Nathan. And this is Glass Cello Concerto number 2. It was taken from his film, Nakoi Katsi, and it's the last one of his Katsi trilogy, and this Nakoi Katsi meaning life as war, and it's from the Hopi language, the native language of the native people in Nevada, and the movie itself is this beautiful documentary of different scenes combined. There's no dialogue, just an hour and a half of music by Philip Glass and all kinds of imageries that comes to life, to kind of depicting the world of how we're overwhelmed by technology and by the chaos and everything around us. It kind of take us through history and how we feel about it. And later, Philip Glass took parts of the movie soundtrack and then made it into a cello concerto. And so it's a really beautiful piece. And then, of course, we're ending with Tchaikovsky's Last Symphony, Pathétique, Symphony number 6. Pathétique means very emotional, and it's also a great piece of music. Tchaikovsky wrote at 9 days before he premiered the piece 9 days before he died, and so it's an amazing piece, and it's unusual in the way that the last movement is the most heartfelt kind of elegy-like movement, and then the triumphant movement is actually the third. So it's really that feel of after the triumph, and then to that last movement, just so beautiful and touching.
Talking about the Missoula Symphony concerts this weekend, Light and Darkness, happening Saturday and Sunday. Nathan, can you talk a little bit about you and your career in playing? You do a number of guest soloist appearances. You also play chamber music. You do lots of other things as well. I'd love to hear you talk a little bit about the Philip Glass, but also just tell us a little bit about what you've been up to and travels and such.
Well, first of all, I'm so excited for this lovely program this weekend. I think it's a program full of contrasts, which I think is so important that we feel as listeners of great music these days. Just what is the possibilities of emotion in music these days. And that's why when Julia approached me to play this Philip Glass cello concerto, I was very much interested. My relationship with minimalism actually first began kind of where I grew up, which is the San Francisco Bay Area, where John Adams is a huge figurehead of minimalism in American music. And so in youth orchestra in San Francisco, we played a lot of his music. And there's something fascinating about being one component of a grand scheme in minimalism. You really force your ear to zoom out and think about big picture things, because the actual changes you play as an individual in a lot of minimalist music is very subtle. And I think it really causes you to lower your ego and in service of the long journey. And I could very much say the same thing about this wonderful Philip Glass piece, in that it's not your traditional concerto in 3 movements. It actually has several more. And what I love about the piece is the cello really fits within the orchestra. It's a member of the bigger picture and the bigger goal of what we're trying to achieve. And in preparation for this concerto, watching the documentary Nakoikatsi, it's a very, very vivid documentary. The imagery is very intense. And a lot of times as performers, it's the job of the performer to conjure up images that they think of when they play the music. But here, the images are presented for you. And so there's something very direct to latch on to. And in that sense, I really love how the cello is used in this concerto, because it becomes a motor in a machine at sometimes, but it also becomes a very tender and fragile soaring instrument in the very high part of the register. So it really calls on so many different techniques in order to play this concerto.
And it does really have that example of, this is a different relationship with soloist to orchestra in many ways, because I think you described it as just being really part of the ensemble. Often the solo parts certainly interweave and connect, but sit on top in a much more of a forward place. And it sounds like this piece, you're just so integral to the greater sound textures that are being created, right?
Yeah, it's definitely very interwoven into the big picture. And as Nathan mentioned earlier, this concerto has 7 different movements, and they really take you through a journey. There are 2 of the 7 movements is actually Nathan's solo, and one is titled The New World, and one is titled Old World. And it's just Nathan and percussion and harp. And, that's kind of the soulful moment for him to shine, kind of revealing his inner self as that humanity and all the tenderness inside. And there's also the big movements with the entire orchestra, where the rhythm and the harmony just really bombastic. Kind of in my mind, I'm thinking about all the noises and chaos in the world, and then there are those contrasts of the big moments and then the really intimate, tender moments.
We're talking about the Light and Darkness concerts, the Missoula Symphony this weekend, Saturday evening, and a Sunday matinee. MissoulaSymphony.org for more information. Nathan, can you tell our listeners where's home for you, and how often do you get to travel and be a soloist, or do you also travel with some of the more chamber music groups too?
So I've been fortunate enough to call the Seattle Symphony my home, where I've been the assistant principal for 8 seasons now. This year I'm beginning a very interesting adventure as a acting principal cello of the Vancouver Symphony up in British Columbia. And so while the orchestral world, I could argue, is a bedrock of some of my playing, I also am very fortunate enough to explore solo repertoire and chamber music. And it's very funny when you are jumping between these different worlds, you find that you have to compartmentalize a lot of the different styles and techniques and processes in which you play the cello. The approach you come into playing a big concerto like the Philip Glass that we're playing this week is very different than preparing for a also Sprach Zarathustra solo in an orchestra. And this keeps my brain very much engaged, and it can also be a little stressful too. So it's a wonderful challenge and wonderful journey. And it's one of the humbling things about music is that there is always something new to learn and to improve upon.
Wonderful. We were talking about the concert this weekend. Nathan, we'd love to have you play one more piece if you'd like to do that.
Sure.
Nathan Chan is here, the cellist, to be performing this weekend. And I'll have you introduce that piece, and then maybe we can come back for just a little bit more.
Sure. I'd love to play for you all a piece that taught me that great music is great music, no matter the genre. What does that mean? Well, you're about to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Julio by Mark Summer.
We're live in Studio B here at Montana Public Radio. I'm Michael Marsolek here with Julia Tai from the Missoula Symphony, and our cellist is Nathan Chan. Wow, that's fantastic. Nathan Chan, cellist. What a beautiful piece. Could you tell us again the name of that? And it's amazing. Harmonics and pizzicato and
Yes,
bowing
it's got
and
a bit
everything in
of
there.
everything.
Little jazz bass action I saw
That's
going
right.
there.
This is Julio by Mark Summer. It's spelled Julie-O, and it was written by Mark, who is a member of the Turtle Island String Quartet, for his sister.
Delightful. Thank you so much for playing for us today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We are live on Studio B, Montana Public Radio. You're not hearing this anywhere else, just here on Montana Public Radio. So glad to have you listening wherever you might be. Julia, have a wonderful concert weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here as well. And Nathan, welcome to Missoula, Montana, and
love it.
enjoy the weekend as well. The Missoula Symphony concerts are coming up this weekend. It's tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m., and a Sunday matinee at 3 o'clock at the Denison Theater in Missoula. And again, there will be a student dress rehearsal opportunity as well for students tomorrow morning starting at 10 a.m., again at the Denison Theater. Program that includes music by Arvo Pärt, Conctus in memory of Benjamin Britten. Philip Glass's Cello Concerto No. 2 is on the program, and Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 6 in B minor. The Pathétique is also on the program. Thank you so much for being here, both of you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
This live production was produced and mixed by Chris Moyles. Noah Epps is in master control. I'm Michael Marsolek. Thank you so much for joining us. You've been listening to another live from Studio B session here on Montana Public Radio. I'm Michael Marsolek. Thanks for listening.